It's hard to think of a more iconic dinosaur than the Tyrannosaurus Rex. From movies and documentaries to toy shelves and pop culture references, the T-Rex has long reigned as the ultimate symbol of prehistoric power and dominance. Its name alone, which translates to Tyrant Lizard King, conjures images of an unstoppable apex predator. While some individuals may have lingered in isolated pockets for years or even decades, the species as a whole was doomed. Fossil evidence suggests that the end was not a single moment but a gradual decline, marked by hunger, competition, and environmental collapse. The extinction of the T-Rex marked the end of the Mesozoic era and paved the way for the rise of mammals. A poorly timed attack could leave a T-Rex gored, incapacitated, or worse. Even smaller prey required strategy and patience, as the T-Rex's sheer size made ambush tactics challenging. Another debated aspect of T-Rex life is its social structure. While many paleontologists have traditionally viewed it as a solitary predator, beyond science, the T-Rex has captured the imagination of people around the world. It has become a symbol of power, resilience, and the untamed forces of nature. From Hollywood blockbusters to museum exhibits, the T-Rex continues to inspire awe and curiosity, bridging the gap between the ancient past and the modern world. From the very moment of its birth, a young T-Rex faced an uphill battle. Picture this: a hatchling no larger than a turkey, nestled in a clutch of eggs, surrounded by towering predators and opportunistic scavengers. With no guarantee of safety, the T-Rex entered a world where vulnerability was its first lesson. Survival wasn't just a matter of brute strength. It required adaptability, cunning, and a great deal of luck. While we often imagine these creatures as unstoppable forces of nature, their early years were anything but. Yet, the struggles didn't stop there. As it grew, the T-Rex was thrust into a body that, while powerful, came with its own set of challenges. Its massive frame, which could stretch over 40 feet in length and weigh up to 9 tons, demanded enormous energy to sustain. Every movement, from a simple step to an all-out chase, required careful energy management. This immense bulk also came with physical limitations, joints prone to stress. In the absence of the giant predators that had dominated for millions of years, smaller, more adaptable species began to thrive. This shift eventually led to the evolutionary pathways that produced primates and ultimately humans. Yet, even as the world moved on, the T-Rex left an indelible mark on the history of life on Earth. As a juvenile T-Rex transitioned into adulthood, its life entered a new chapter 1 marked by immense growth, unrivaled power, and a host of new challenges. The creature we think of as the ultimate predator was in many ways a marvel of evolutionary engineering. Its massive size, powerful jaws, and keen senses made it a formidable force in the Cretaceous landscape. As we pull back the curtain on the life of this legendary predator, we'll explore the nuanced reality that goes beyond the roar and the teeth. From its precarious beginnings as a vulnerable hatchling to the daily struggles of an adult navigating the perils of its ecosystem, the T-Rex's life was a testament to both the power and fragility of nature. In the chapters to come, we'll dive deep into the specific challenges that defined its existence. We'll uncover how it survived its earliest years, dissect the mechanics of its massive yet flawed body, and explore the harsh realities of life at the top of the food chain. For now, let's linger on this thought. With fluctuating climates, shifting ecosystems, and the ever-present threat of competition from other predators, the T-Rex may have ruled its territory, but it did so with a heavy cost. Maintaining dominance required constant vigilance and unrelenting aggression, traits that left little room for error. Carnivores like the T-Rex faced starvation. The massive size that once made it a dominant predator now became a liability, as its energy needs far exceeded what the dwindling environment could provide. While some smaller species were able to adapt to the changing conditions, the T-Rex was simply too specialized to survive. And finally, to its role as a symbol of the fragility and power of life, the T-Rex remains an enduring icon. Its story is not just the tale of a dinosaur, it is a testament to the forces that shape life itself, and a reminder that even the mightiest are part of a greater whole. While the arms may have been a humorous footnote to its design, they also highlight how specialized the T-Rex had become. It was a creature honed for a specific way of life, and any deviation from that could spell disaster. Carrying such massive bulk also came with physical drawbacks. While the T-Rex was faster than many people imagined capable of running at speeds of up to 20 miles per hour, it couldn't sustain these bursts for long, which roamed in packs. To ancient crocodilians lurking in nearby waterways, danger was constant. The T-Rex hatchling didn't yet possess the size or strength that would later make it a formidable predator. Instead, it relied on instinct, camouflage, and perhaps the faint protection of its siblings. The hatchling was vulnerable, wide-eyed, and utterly dependent on its wits and surroundings for survival. Vulnerability at birth, the moment a hatchling broke through its shell, it faced an immediate and daunting reality. Predators and scavengers were everywhere, from small carnivorous dinosaurs like Trudon, at least during the early days. Yet, even if this was the case, the care would have been short-lived. Unlike some modern reptiles, which fiercely guard their nests and young, a T-Rex parent's priority was likely survival, and a 9-ton predator had significant energy demands that may have outweighed extended parental duties. For hatchlings, this meant one harsh truth: independence came quickly. If they weren't ready to fend for themselves within weeks, their chances of survival plummeted. It was a brutal introduction to life in the late Cretaceous, where only the fittest and the luckiest could hope to make it past their first year. It also left behind a trail of resources. Smaller scavengers, such as dromaeosaurs or early mammals, likely followed in its wake, feeding on the scraps left behind after a kill. In this way, the T-Rex indirectly supported a host of other species, creating micro-ecosystems around the remains of its prey. Its immense weight placed tremendous strain on its legs and joints, leading to a heightened risk of injury. Fossil evidence shows that many T-Rexes suffered from arthritis, stress fractures, and other ailments related to their size. A single misstep or injury could have lasting consequences. It was a perilous balance, where every encounter, whether with prey or predator, posed a significant risk. Adapting to survive to navigate these challenges, young T-Rexes likely adopted behaviors distinct from their adult counterparts. While the adults were built for power and force, juveniles may have relied on speed and agility. The collision also unleashed massive tsunamis, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions, reshaping the Earth's surface in a matter of hours. Perhaps the most significant consequence of the asteroid impact was the injection of dust, ash, and sulfuric aerosols into the atmosphere. These particles created a dense cloud that blocked sunlight for months or even years. Yet, for all its strengths, the adult T-Rex was not without limitations. In fact, its very size and specialization came with inherent flaws that made survival an ongoing struggle. By adulthood, the T-Rex had grown to a staggering 40 feet in length and could weigh as much as 9 tons. Its skull alone measured over 5 feet and sent shock waves rippling across the globe. For the T-Rex, which roamed what is now North America, the fallout would have been devastating. While it's unlikely that many were in the direct path of the impact, the secondary effects were inescapable. Fires swept across vast regions, triggered by superheated debris raining down from the sky. But what happened once they made it through these formative years? As they grew, so did their challenges. The juvenile awkwardness gave way to the immense power of adulthood. Yet this transformation came with its own set of difficulties. In the next chapter, we'll delve into the unique physical and physiological hurdles faced by an adult T-Rex, a creature built to rule but not without compromise. By preying on herbivores like Triceratops and Edmontosaurus, the T-Rex played a crucial role in controlling their populations. This predation prevented overgrazing, which could have devastated vegetation and disrupted the habitats of countless smaller creatures. Yet the T-Rex didn't hunt indiscriminately. As we delve deeper into the life of the T-Rex, the next chapter will explore its role within the ecosystem. What did it mean to be the top predator of its time? And how did the T-Rex shape the world around it? To truly appreciate its legacy, we must understand not just its challenges, but the ripple effects it left in its wake. The T-Rex was a biological furnace, burning through calories at a staggering rate. This need for constant fuel shaped every aspect of its life. Hunting wasn't just a means of survival, it was an all-consuming necessity. The T-Rex couldn't afford to go long without a meal, and the energy cost of failed hunts could be devastating. Sharing a kill with another 9-ton predator was as much a risk as it was a benefit. Competition for food, dominance, and mating rights would have added layers of complexity to its social interactions, making every encounter a potential conflict. Despite its fearsome reputation, the adult T-Rex was far from invincible. Scientists have long debated their purpose, proposing theories ranging from mating assistance to aiding in balance during a fall. Yet one thing is certain, the arms were not a primary tool for survival. Instead, the T-Rex relied almost entirely on its powerful legs and massive jaws. This heavy dependence on its head for hunting and defense meant that any injury to its skull or teeth could be catastrophic. As an apex predator, the T-Rex wasn't just a participant in the ecosystem, it was a driving force. Its presence alone could alter the behavior, population dynamics, and even evolution of other species within its domain. To grasp the full impact of a creature like the T-Rex, we must imagine the intricate web of life it was a part of. Adaptation and the interconnectedness of all life are as relevant today as they were in the age of the dinosaurs. And so, the story of the T-Rex ends not with a whimper, but with a roar that echoes across time. From its awkward beginnings as a gangly hatchling to its reign as a fearsome apex predator, the towering frills and horns of a Triceratops, for example, were as much a defensive adaptation against predators like the T-Rex as they were a display for attracting mates. This predator-prey dynamic created a kind of evolutionary arms race where each species continually adapted to outwit or overcome the other. Living or extinct allowed it to detect carcasses from miles away, making scavenging a viable and energy-efficient option. However, when it did hunt, it had to contend with prey that was often just as dangerous as itself. Imagine a fully grown Triceratops, a frequent target for T-Rexes. These herbivores were armed with massive horns and a sturdy frill that could withstand significant force. As we reflect on the T-Rex's role as an apex predator, it's clear that its impact extended far beyond its individual hunts. It was a keystone species, shaping the world around it in ways both visible and invisible. But what happened when its reign came to an end? In the next chapter, we'll explore the cataclysmic events that led to the T-Rex's extinction and the legacy it left behind, a story of survival. Competition among siblings, even among their own kind, young T-Rexes weren't safe. A single clutch could consist of 10 or more eggs, but resources were scarce and competition began almost immediately. Hatchlings might have fought each other for access to food, and in some cases, their siblings might have become an easy meal during desperate times. Perhaps being the king isn't as glamorous as it seems, and the life of a T-Rex may have been as much a tale of survival as it was of dominance. To understand why the early years of a T-Rex were anything but easy, let's step into the dense forests and open plains of the late Cretaceous, roughly 68 million years ago. The T-Rex remains one of the most studied and celebrated creatures in paleontology. Its fossils have provided invaluable insights into the anatomy, behavior, and evolution of theropod dinosaurs. From the discovery of preserved soft tissues to the analysis of its growth rates, each new find adds to our understanding of this ancient giant. Was wiped out during the mass extinction event at the end of the Cretaceous period. This chapter delves into the harrowing circumstances of its demise, the ripple effects on the planet, and the enduring legacy of one of Earth's most iconic creatures. The extinction of the T-Rex is closely tied to one of the most well-documented extinction events in Earth's history. In many ways, the T-Rex's story is not just about dominance or extinction, it's about survival in the face of unimaginable odds. For millions of years, it ruled a world far harsher and more unpredictable than ours, adapting to challenges that would have defeated lesser creatures. Even its extinction, where every roar, every hunt, and every carcass it left behind reverberated through the landscape. At the pinnacle of the food chain, the T-Rex had few, if any, natural enemies. This elevated status gave it a level of freedom unmatched by other creatures. But it also came with immense responsibility in maintaining balance within its ecosystem. A relatively slow pace compared to smaller predators, and, of course, those famously tiny arms that were more a source of comedic fascination than utility. But the difficulties weren't purely physical. The environment of the late Cretaceous was a dynamic and often unforgiving place. The Earth was undergoing significant changes. Fossil evidence suggests that it may have preferred targeting the weak, injured, or elderly among its prey. This selective hunting not only conserved energy, a critical factor for such a massive predator, but also improved the overall health of herbivore populations by weeding out individuals less fit for survival. Housing an arsenal of 60 serrated teeth designed for crushing bone. These teeth were continually replaced throughout its life, ensuring that it always had the tools necessary to tackle its prey. But this extraordinary design required enormous energy to maintain. Unlike smaller predators, which could survive on less food and expend less energy, cleaning up the environment and reducing the spread of disease. In this role, the T-Rex became a linchpin in the cycle of life and death. The nutrients it released back into the soil from consumed prey would fuel the growth of plants, which in turn supported herbivores, the very creatures the T-Rex relied on. It was a self-sustaining loop, with the T-Rex as both a participant and an enforcer. The vast territories of T-Rexes were likely shaped by their enormous energy needs. A single individual may have roamed hundreds of square miles in search of food, marking its domain through vocalizations, scent, or even physical displays. These territories weren't just about claiming resources, they were also a stage for complex interactions with other members of its species. Encounters between T-Rexes, whether for mating, competition, or territorial disputes, were likely dramatic events. Evidence of bite marks on T-Rex skulls and bones suggests that such confrontations were not uncommon. These battles may have served as a form of communication, establishing dominance without escalating to fatal conflict. The very existence of a T-Rex in a given area had profound effects on the behavior of its prey. Herbivores developed various strategies to avoid becoming a meal, from traveling in herds to adopting complex communication systems for detecting danger. Its massive bulk, slow reproductive rate, and dependence on large prey left it ill-equipped for the post-impact world. Even its scavenging abilities couldn't compensate for the sheer scarcity of food. Paleontologists believe that the extinction of the T-Rex, along with other large dinosaurs, was likely a drawn-out process. Scarcity and constant peril, where even the smallest misstep could spell disaster for a creature as colossal as the T-Rex. To truly understand why being born a T-Rex might have sucked, we need to step beyond the Hollywood depiction of this apex predator and dive into the gritty reality of its existence. Assuming they weren't in competition for limited resources, parental care, or independence, one of the enduring debates among paleontologists revolves around whether T-Rex parents actively cared for their young. Some fossil evidence suggests that larger theropods might have provided limited protection to their offspring. Even plants benefited from the T-Rex's activities. By keeping herbivore populations in check, the T-Rex helped preserve vegetation, allowing forests and grasslands to flourish. These lush environments, in turn, provided food and shelter for countless smaller organisms, creating a cascading effect that reinforced the health of the entire ecosystem. T-Rexes experienced one of the fastest growth rates of any dinosaur, adding several pounds a day during their juvenile years. By the time they reached their teenage stage, they had grown to the size of a modern elephant. But this rapid growth came at a cost. Juvenile T-Rexes faced an awkward in-between phase where they were too large to hide effectively, yet not strong enough to dominate larger prey. This phenomenon, known as siblicide, is observed in many modern predators, and it's not far-fetched to imagine similar behavior in a species as fiercely competitive as the T-Rex. The growth spurt that saved or doomed them, for those who managed to navigate this gauntlet of threats, a remarkable transformation awaited. Adaptation and the enduring mystery of life on Earth. As formidable as the T-Rex was, its reign was not eternal. Around 66 million years ago, a catastrophic series of events brought the age of the dinosaurs to an abrupt and dramatic end. The T-Rex, along with nearly 75% of all species on Earth, it's a warm, humid world teeming with life-towering conifers stretch skyward. Ferns carpet the ground, and rivers carve their way through lush valleys. This was a time when the land was alive with a cacophony of sounds, the distant bellows of herbivores, the calls of pterosaur flocks above, and the occasional low rumble that signaled the presence of a predator. Over millions of years, these interactions shaped the physical traits, behaviors, and survival strategies of countless organisms, leaving a legacy that can still be studied in the fossil record. For smaller creatures, the T-Rex represented both a threat and an opportunity. While its immense size made it a dangerous predator, amid this bustling ecosystem, a T-Rex hatchling emerged from its egg, one of a clutch laid carefully by a mother who likely buried them for protection. At this stage, the T-Rex was almost unrecognizable from the towering creature we often imagine, measuring about 2 feet long and weighing no more than a few pounds, limiting their ability to hunt and defend themselves. While the T-Rex is often depicted as a relentless hunter, the reality of its diet was far more nuanced. It was likely an opportunistic carnivore, combining active hunting with scavenging. Its keen sense of smell one of the most acute of any animal. This impact winter plunged the Earth into darkness, disrupting photosynthesis and collapsing the food chains that sustained life. For the T-Rex, this meant an end to its prey. Herbivorous dinosaurs, reliant on plants for survival, were some of the first to succumb. With their primary food source gone, every step, every chase, every bite had to count. In this sense, the T-Rex lived on a knife's edge, its power both a blessing and a burden. Of course, no discussion of T-Rex anatomy would be complete without addressing its most perplexing feature, those comically tiny arms. Measuring just 3 feet long, roughly the size of a human adult's arm, they seemed almost absurd on a creature of such immense proportions. Targeting smaller, more manageable prey like ornithopodids, or scavenging from kills left behind by larger predators. This adaptability was crucial for survival, allowing them to bridge the gap between vulnerability and dominance. As we look closer, it's clear that the early life of a T-Rex was anything but straightforward. The T-Rex's dominance is etched not only in the fossils of its prey, but also in its own remains. Bite marks on bones, coprolites, fossilized feces, and even the sediment around its fossils tell a story of an animal that was both feared and vital to its environment. These clues offer a window into the complex interplay of life in the late Cretaceous and underscore the T-Rex's unparalleled influence. While tragic, is part of a larger narrative of change and renewal that defines the history of life on Earth. As we uncover more about the T-Rex, we are reminded of our own place in this ever-changing tapestry of existence. Its bones may be ancient relics, but the lessons they teach us about resilience. Its role as an apex predator shaped the ecosystems of its time, influencing the evolution of countless other species. Its extinction serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of even the most dominant life forms, underscoring the delicate balance required to sustain life on this planet. Though it has been extinct for millions of years, recent discoveries suggest that it may have lived and hunted in groups at times. Evidence of T-Rex trackways and bone beds with multiple individuals points to potential pack behavior, though whether this was common or circumstantial remains unclear. If the T-Rex did cooperate with others, it would have been an uneasy alliance. From the moment they hatched, they were thrust into a world that demanded resilience, cunning, and a fair amount of luck. For every T-Rex fossil we uncover, there are countless others that didn't survive beyond their first few months, a testament to the unforgiving nature of life in the Cretaceous. Despite its reputation as a fearsome hunter, the T-Rex likely spent much of its time scavenging. Its keen sense of smell, which rivaled that of modern vultures, allowed it to locate carcasses over vast distances. By consuming these remains, the T-Rex performed an essential ecological service. Its size made it a target for injuries, its energy demands were relentless, and its hunting strategies were fraught with risk. Yet, these very challenges underscore what made the T-Rex so remarkable. It wasn't just a creature of brute force. It was a master of survival, capable of adapting to an ever-changing environment and overcoming the obstacles that its own biology presented. Let's start with this idea. What does it really mean to be born into the world of the Cretaceous 160 million years after the first dinosaurs appeared? The T-Rex might have been near the top of the food chain during its time, but life at the top wasn't all glory. It was a world defined by competition,